to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest of all.
Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one.
Good evening, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Saturday night, April the 26th. I am your host, Mike Oliva, flying solo tonight. And the NFL Draft of 2025 is now officially over. It is in the books. And on tonight's show, we are going to recap everything that took place on Saturday. We have some news from the press conference after the draft from Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier. They made a big trade today in Miami, which we'll talk about. And then we're going to run through all the picks. There was a bunch of them that Miami made and talk about how they fit with the Dolphins this year and break down the players. Now, before we start, though, they are signing undrafted free agents as I speak. We have an updated list up at the website. So go to DolphinsTalk.com. It'll be updated throughout the next 24 hours or so as these names start to trickle in. They've already signed like 8, 9, or 10 of them. It's a lot. They've already signed rather quickly. So go to the website and check it out at DolphinsTalk.com. It will continue to be updated. So keep checking back the site every, half hour, every hour or so as we add more names to the list of the undrafted free agents. Okay, before we start, let's get through some business. If you're watching on YouTube, take a moment right now, smash the like button. Do us a huge favor. Just smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you very much. Also, subscribe to the channel, but smash the like button. I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Caneswear. Go to the website caneswear.com for the very best and the most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. If you want a new jersey, t-shirt, hoodie, polo, socks, shorts, swim trunks, anything with a coat, windbreaker with the Miami Dolphins logo on it, go to caneswear.com for the best Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. They also got stuff for the Miami Heat, Florida Panthers, the Miami Hurricanes, of course, and your Miami Marlins. And they also have stuff for the other college teams in the state of Florida. But caneswear.com is the place to go for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel. Check it out. They ship internationally as well. Also, if you like this podcast, patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. Dolphins Talk Extra. $3 a month. Can't beat the price. Only $3 a month. You get bonus podcasts, some about the Dolphins, some not, interactive podcasts where you can join us on a podcast and talk about the Miami Dolphins or anything else. You also have a private message board. So if you don't like social media because people are a little crazy and toxic there, we have a private message board where you can just talk freely. No one's going to yell at you, jump down your back for any opinion you have. And we also give away autographs and clothing apparel and all things, a bunch of prizes. Patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. All right, before we get to the picks, let's talk about some news. Jalen Ramsey was not traded today or this weekend. In the post-game press conference, Chris Grier was asked about this. He said Miami fielded calls over the weekend regarding Ramsey, but nothing happened. Mike McDaniel was asked about his relationship with Ramsey, and he refused to answer the question. He said, I just want to talk about the draft picks, which is weird because it only takes like 5 seconds to say my relationship with Ramsey's fine. And that's it. He didn't even say that. So that lets you know that might be where the fracture is between Mike McDaniel and Jalen Ramsey. But yeah, sounds like this is going to be a post-June 1st trade, which is fine. It actually helps Miami anyways, be from a salary cap perspective, and I'm okay with it. And when you factor in the trade they made, which we'll talk about here in a minute, I don't think they wanted picks this weekend anyways because they traded out around 3. They traded out around 4. I don't think they wanted picks this year. So they're probably happy trading them post-June 1st, helps them on the cap, and it gives them picks for 2026, which they seem to want more of. Shedeur Sanders was a talk of this draft, clearly from Colorado. The fall, everyone thought he'd go top round 1, top 10, maybe even number 2, and he fell all the way to round 5. And with each passing pick, each passing round, it was a bigger and bigger story. It was like almost obnoxious on ESPN. They just wouldn't stop talking about it. But Chris Greer was asked in his press conference, did Miami ever consider it? And he said yes, that Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel and the rest of the front office had a serious and lengthy conversation about taking Shadir Sanders today. So they didn't have any conversation about taking round 2 or anything. Today, they had talks internally. Obviously, it did not happen, but they were considering it, and they did talk about it, and I guess they just decided against it at the end of the day. Okay, let's talk about this trade. So Miami entered this draft with 10 picks. They had obviously one in round 1, one in round 2, one in round 3, 2 in round 4, 2 in round 5, and then a whole bunch in round 7. So Miami last night, obviously, they trade their second, they trade their third, and one of the fourths to move up in round 2 to get the offensive lineman out of Arizona, which, some people are like, I don't know about it, but okay, they got a big, badass offensive lineman, which is what they needed. So it's okay because we still had 1 pick in round 4 and 3 picks in round 5. And people thought, okay, they made the trade. I might not love it, but I understand it. It's good. So today it starts the draft. Their pick in round 4 was pretty close to the top. It was going to come relatively quick. And when they got on the clock, Miami trades out of round 4 completely. They gave up their 4th round pick, 116, their 7th round pick, the highest of their picks in round 7, 224, and they sent that to Houston. And in return, they got a 6th round pick, which they didn't have a 6th round pick, and they got a 3rd round pick in 2026. So if you remember the Jalen Wright trade last year, where Miami on this Saturday last year, traded a 3rd round pick this year to the Philadelphia Eagles to get a pick in round 4 where they took Jalen Wright, essentially the same trade. So if you're the Dolphins, this says 2 things. It says that they didn't really think they needed to have a lot of early round picks in this draft. Because when you trade out of round 3 and round 4 completely, and they get 2 picks in round 4, 1 pick in round 3, they didn't take any of them. They traded them all away. They felt like, we like our roster. We like the guy we got in round 1. We like the guy we got in round 2. We'll take some guys round 5, 6, 7, which those are late round picks, which they have some value, but you're really just taking flyers on guys. They were very comfortable just taking a guy in round 1, round 2, and now after May 1st, they're going to sign a bunch of older veteran free agents on 1-year deals. And hopefully it works out better than it did last year, because it didn't work out with Jordan Poyer. It didn't work out with Shaq Barrett. It didn't work out with pretty much any. It didn't work out with Odell Beckham. It didn't work out with Wynn. Like they signed guys. It didn't work out with almost any of them. I'm sure maybe one of them, it kind of worked out. I just can't think of it right now off the top of my head. So they're going to play that game again to get through 2025. And because it's a rebuilding year. I know they're saying it's not, folks, it's a rebuilding year. Watch what they do with your eyes. Actions speak louder than words. Leading to my next point. If, we've heard all offseason, not from me, that Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel are on the hot seat. They're on the hot seat. They better win this year or else they're going to get fired. If they have a slow start to the season, Mike McDaniel might get fired in October. Or he might get fired in November. They're going to get fired. But then free agency comes in March. They sign, outside of one offensive lineman, James Daniels, they sign a bunch of backups, and that's what they are. Sign a bunch of backups. They didn't sign anyone else who's like a real starter. They could have restructured the contract of Tua Tagovailoa to open up $19 million to sign some really good players. Didn't do that. They could have restructured the deal of Zach Sealer to sign really good players. Didn't do that. They could have restructured the deal of Jordan Brooks to sign really good players. Didn't do that. Then we get to the draft, 10 picks, and they trade out around 3, out around 4, and they're looking to, and they add a pick in 2026. If you're on the hot seat, why do you want to add a pick in 2026? You might not be here. Oh, spoiler, they're not on the hot seat. I know there's other podcasters, there's other YouTubers, there's journalists who write for newspapers who have been telling you and will continue to tell you that they're on the hot seat. They're on the hot seat. They're on the hot seat. Folks, they're lying to you because they want your clicks. They want your attention. They want to build up the drama to get you anxious. Oh my God, if we don't win, they're getting fired. Instead, I'm telling you the truth, which is kind of boring, kind of bland, and not that exciting. Nobody's getting fired. Yes. If they only win 2 or 3 games this year, they're getting fired. You know why? In the NFL, if you only win 2 or 3 games, you get fired. But if they have the same record they have last year, maybe even one game worse. They only win 6 games or so. They're not getting fired. Stephen Ross likes this group. He likes Chris Greer. Whether we like him or not, don't matter. He's the owner. He likes Mike McDaniel. Whether we like him or not, it doesn't matter. They're not getting fired. You know why? Actions speak louder than words. So anytime one of these people try to work you up and try to get you to read something or watch something, clickbait with, oh my God, they're on the hot seat. They're on a hot seat. Just use your brain. Look at the actions. Look what they did in March and look what they did this weekend. Do they seem like people who are on the hot seat? Plus, if they're on the hot seat, they tell Ramsey, shut up, show up, and play. We're not trading you. Every action they're doing is telling you they feel comfortable in their jobs and they're going to be here next year, to the point we're fine with trading out of round 3 and out of round 4 to add a 2026 third round pick, because we're going to be here next year and use that pick. So, okay. And I actually don't mind it, because that 2026 third, again, not hating, just stating, if the starting quarterback gets hurt again, misses 4, 5, 6 games, Miami will be in the market for a starting quarterback next year. The 2026 quarterback class in the draft is going to be very good. You might have 4 or 5 guys going around 1, if not more, at the end of the day. And if Miami's in the market for one, you have an extra third round pick now you can trade to move up and down the board. Or if you want to trade your pick in round 2 to move up the board, well, that you have 2 picks in round 3, so you're going to be fine. And guess what? If Tua plays well this year, if he stays healthy this year and there's no issues, you got an extra third round pick. Congrats. So they're not on the hot seat. Anyone who tells you otherwise is just, they're working you. Don't be a fool. All right, let's get into the picks here that Miami made on Saturday. It starts in round 5. And the first pick I like a lot. And it's a guy I think a lot of people who follow the draft closely like a lot. A lot of people who like watch the film and stuff like that like a lot. A lot of the smart people, at least, who follow this stuff, not your average Tom, Dick, and Harry here on social media who don't know what they're talking about. They took Jordan Phillips, the defensive tackle out of Maryland. And again, just like they did with Grant, just like they did in round 2 with Sabanea, they got a big badass in the trenches. He's only 20 years old. He's a baby. But he's one big sumbitch, just like the other guys they've taken so far. He is powerful and twitchy. He's above average versus the run. Needs to work on the pass rush. But he has solid quickness, so he's not like a total, he can move a little bit, and he's very, very strong, and he's very powerful. This guy can get up the field with some penetration, but versus the run, this is where you want him. In Miami this year, probably will compete for playing time with Bonito Jones, I would think. This is a solid pick at the top of round 5. And he's a guy who can take on double teams, and he plays well taking them out. So this is what you want. You want a space eater. As I said on Thursday night, he's a people mover. This team needed people movers in the trenches. So you don't want to be a soft team. You get guys like Grant, Savanea, and you get Jordan Phillips with your first 3 picks. And guess what? You're going to start to change that image of your franchise rather quickly. Again, he'll come in this year as a rotational tackle that you can put in the middle of your line next to Zach Sealer, next to Grant, and he'll play the run great. And every now and then he'll have a little bit of a pass rush, but that's not what he's known for. So great. Love that pick. There's one other pick I love more, but I love this pick. Probably my second favorite pick of the day. In reality, it's probably the first, though. Because the other pick's more of just like a personal thing that tugs on my heart. I love it so much. Round 5, pick 150, Jason Marshall Jr., the cornerback out of Florida. This is probably the most confusing pick of the day. I'm not going to lie. And I'm also not going to lie. In the pre-draft process, he's somebody I didn't do any research on. But once we picked him, I did do a bunch of research on this afternoon. So I'm kind of up to speed on him now. It's a little bit of a head scratcher, though. It seems like we took him a little too early. Probably would have been there around like later round 5 or round 6. I don't get it, but we'll see. He has good size and length, and he does attack the ball at the catch point, and he does find the ball when it's in the air. So there's positives for this kid at corner, but there's a lot of negatives too. He doesn't have great speed, and he's not good in run support. He doesn't have great hands, so he's not going to intercept the ball. He's not good at all versus the play action pass, struggles when he plays zone, and he's a bad tackler. That's a lot of negatives to only a couple positives. So the pick's confusing. I don't see it. They needed to add a corner, though, in the draft. So I get it. But they must have saw something in him that they feel they can coach up, that they can get out of him. And again, I just want to remind people, we're talking guys around 5, 6, and 7. These are not guys who are going to start on Miami this year. If a couple of these guys are like second string, that's a win. Some of these guys are going to be on the practice squad, and there might even be a few of these guys who get cut before we're in camp. So we're talking 5, 6, and 7 picks here. We're not talking guys that you're going to pencil in to start, because I know Miami has a big needed corner. This kid seems like a total project, and I don't think we're going to get much out of him this year, and I have a feeling he might be on the practice squad when it's all said and done. So Jason Marshall Jr., cornerback out of Florida. I don't love this pick. I'm kind of confused by it, but hopefully he surprises me when we get to training camp, and he shows myself and some others who are confused by the pick why they took him. So hoping for the best, and that was the second pick in round 5. The third pick in round 5, Miami went back to Maryland, and there's a great clip on social media of Jordan Phillips after he was picked. He's at his home with his family. He's watching ESPN, and up on the screen it says the Miami Dolphins selected pick 155, Dante Trader Jr., safety out of Maryland. Jordan Phillips jumps up. He starts clapping, hooping it up, hugging his family. It's a great clip. You got to find it. It is awesome. Now, Dante Trader Jr., Maryland safety. Here's all you got to know about him. Undersized tackling machine. He's not the biggest. He's not the fastest, but he can find the ball, and he wraps guys up, and he makes tackles. He is very quick to read and respond when he's on the field. He's a strong safety. He's a box safety. He loves to be near the line of scrimmage, but sometimes he does overrun the play, and he gets himself out of position. So he's got to work on that. But he's a tough, competitive player who's not afraid to get his nose in there, find the ball, wrap guys up. The downside, again, he's undersized. He's not for a prototypical safety in the NFL, not the biggest, not the fastest, so that hurts him some, hence why he fell to the end of round 5. But I like the pick because, again, it's safety, what Miami has right now. And I do think they're going to sign one of these free agent safeties out there, like a Will Blackman, Justin Simmons, someone like that who's available. I think they're going to sign one because the guys they signed in Fedi Malafanu and Ashton Davis aren't starters. They're just not. Now, look, they might have to start because we got nobody else. But I think Trader now will compete with Patrick McMorris in that safety room to be like a second string guy per se. And I think they'll sign a veteran guy. So if they sign a veteran and say they start next to Malafanu, then your second string safeties will be Ashton Davis and then either Trader Jr. or Patrick McMorris. They're kind of fighting with each other for playing time. And I also know there is Elijah Campbell, but he's really more of a special teams guy. His role is locked up. He can play safety, but he's also more special teams. But Trader Jr., I like this pick. I get the pick. Once again, he's a tough, competitive guy. He plays every play. He doesn't take plays off, and he tackles and wraps up. Fundamentally sound. All right, before I get to the next few picks, shout out to everyone listening and watching at finheaven.com. Everyone go to finheaven.com, largest Miami Dolphins message board on the internet. Also, a shout out to our friends at the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page, run by the great and talented Carlos Hernandez. If you're on Facebook, please be sure you are part of the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Podbean, Podchaser, or one of the other 200 or so platforms, we're on all of them. Wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to have shows pretty much every day this week, recapping the draft and talking about the picks, getting some rundowns on the picks. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to the podcast. All right. Now, the moment of the day where I jumped out of my chair when Miami made a pick came with their only pick in round 6. And if you listen to our pre-draft shows I do with Dante Collinelli in the lead up to the draft, the shows when we did the running backs, I said to Dante, I know why he's going to fall, but I don't care. I want the Miami Dolphins to come out of this draft with Ollie Gordon Jr. the second. I want them to come out of the draft with Ollie Gordon the second, running back out of Oklahoma State. And by God Almighty, they did. I jumped out of my chair. I'm like, thank the Lord. I know fans are going, well, it's not a need running back. We got Roy, we got Achane, we signed it. I don't care. This kid is special. He's a big back who's not afraid of contact. And if you follow college football, I know not everyone does, in 2023, pardon my language, this dude was fucking awesome. He was unstoppable in 2023 to the point heading into this past season, 2024, he was like one of the top 2 or 3 Heisman favorites over the summer heading into the season. Now, what happened in 2024? Because he did not play well in 2024. In the offseason, he got pulled over for a DUI, which was a very public story. And then in 2024, Oklahoma State, their offensive line play was abysmal. Their quarterback play was abysmal. And he had 0 running lanes in 2024. He had no chance. So he did very little in 2024. Hence why he fell. But he showed in 2023, if you give him even an adequate offensive line with any running lanes, this dude is a beast. If Miami's offensive line can block just a little, if they can just improve a little, this will become the steal of the draft. He don't dance. He ain't got happy feet. And when he gets running downhill, good fucking luck trying to tackle this guy. He ain't the fastest, but he's tough to bring down. He has good hands. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. And he's the type of guy who you can give him the ball 20 times a game. And as the game goes on, we get to the third and fourth quarter, he gets better and better and better. Now, is he going to get the ball 20 times a game in Miami? No. There's Achane, there's Jalen Wright. But again, on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, we've had smaller backs for trying to pick up first downs. We can't do the tush push because our quarterback's got head injuries. Guess what now? Short yardage back, you give the ball to Ollie Gordon II. He's your short yardage back, and he'll get those yards. And I think, look, if I think there's a very good chance in camp he'll beat out Alexander Madison. I think there's a good chance in camp Alexander Madison will be cut if that happens. If Ollie Gordon does not play well in camp, and we see the Ollie Gordon of 2024, then no, Alexander Madison will be here, and Ollie Gordon will probably be on the practice squad. But I believe in Ollie Gordon. I love Ollie Gordon. I love this bleeping pick. Let's go. I believe in this kid. I know, just watch the 2023 tape. Go to YouTube, find 2023 highlights. You see a big back who gets running downhill who you can't tackle. 2024, it was a hot mess, starting with him getting pulled over prior to the season. And then in season, like I said, Oklahoma State was a disaster. Their offense was a disaster. And as a running back, you can't do it alone. If there's no threat of a passing game and your offensive line can't block anybody, you're screwed. So I almost want to just take the 2024 season, throw it out, because the 2023 season, we had an average offensive line and you got average quarterback play, he excelled. So I'm a big Ollie Gordon believer. I know not everyone is, and I know not everyone's going to love taking a running back again, but it's round 6, so don't get worked up. It's a round 6 pick, but I think this kid can play, and I love the pick. That's all I can say. I can't say it enough. All right, then Miami had 2 picks in round 7 because, again, with the trade they made, they lost their first pick in round 7. So in round 7, they still had 2 picks. Pick 231, this is one that's going to get all the headlines too. The Miami Dolphins took quarterback Quinn Ewers out of Texas. And why this is kind of interesting is Shedeur Sanders got all the attention this weekend with the fall. If that didn't happen, Quinn Ewers would have been the story of this draft with his fall. Because 2 years ago, people pegged Quinn Ewers as a first-round pick. There were, the tank for Tua, suck for luck. A couple years ago, it was don't win for Quinn, because that fans of NFL teams are hoping they'd get Quinn Ewers in round 1 of the NFL draft when he came out. But injuries hurt him. He is, though, still, over the past 3 seasons, the winningest quarterback in college football over the past 3 years. This kid can play. The injuries have slowed him down and have hurt him. He needs to get back to 100%. And if he does, I think he'll refine the magic, and I think he'll compete to be the number 2 quarterback, maybe not this year, but down the road in Miami. Quinn Ewers throws a very nice deep ball, and it's accurate as all hell. He can throw an accurate deep pass as well as anyone in this draft. Where he struggles is throwing the underneath stuff at times. And some people think it's because of the injuries that he's had to his upper body, which now have him struggling throwing underneath in the shorter routes. Louis Riddick on ESPN absolutely killed him today, and it was so ironic. ESPN in round 7, they finally have a segment on Quinn Ewers. He's still out there. He hasn't been drafted. This is kind of surprising because just a few years ago, like I said, he was pegged to be a first-round pick, and now he's sitting there around 7. He hasn't been picked, and Riddick said, he got no zip on his passes. He plays with no urgency. He's going to get eaten alive in the NFL. I don't see it. Then literally 10 seconds later, Miami drafts him. I think if he heals up, the zip will come back because he had it prior to some of these injuries. And if you watch the Alabama game from 2 years ago, he put on a friggin' show. The zip was there. I just think since then, and shortly after that is when he got the first injury. He just hasn't really been 100% ever. He's been healthy enough to play. He's brought in Texas back to prominence, which was a big deal for them because they have been a down program. He's the guy over the past 3 seasons that has them winning pretty much every week or winning a whole lot more than they have been. So Miami takes him in around 7 for a third quarterback, and that's what he's coming in as. Now, quarterback around 7. Last time we did that, Skylar Thompson. Quinn Ewers has far more upside than Skylar Thompson. I know some people say, no, he doesn't. He does. But Quinn Ewers just has to be 100% healthy, okay? Because if he's not, then he is going to be Skylar Thompson 2.0. I'm not going to lie to you. But if he gets healthy 100%, gets the strength back in his arm, he's going to be, a solid backup quarterback. And I think if, let's hope not, but if this year or next year he's thrown out on the field because number 1 gets hurt, there's more upside here with Quinn Ewers than some of the others. Here's what you got to know. This kid's used to pressure. Starting quarterback at Texas, if you don't know college football, you don't understand Texas football is like a mini NFL. You have more pressure being the starting quarterback at Texas than I would say half the quarterbacks in the NFL. There's that much pressure on you at the University of Texas. Those people eat, breathe, sleep football 365 days a year. It is a religion in the state of Texas, and that's the program. Not Texas A&M, ain't Texas Tech. It's Texas. And to be a starting quarterback there, which he has for a few years, and to win all those games, he's used to pressure. So if he gets thrown out on the field, he ain't going to shrink to the moment, okay? He won't shrink to the moment. So he's got to get healthy. And if he gets healthy, this pick has a chance to be some for a backup. If I'm not saying he's going to take to his job, he won't. So don't read into it that way. He is a 7th-round pick who can be a long-term number 2 quarterback in Miami for many years, okay? And that's his ceiling right now. And if he doesn't get the arm right, if he doesn't get to 100% or where he was prior to these injuries, and they're not major injuries, but they're injuries where, he came back for him. He played in the bowl games. He played in these games late in the year. He's not like, his arm's not like totally shot. He's just got to get the strength back. And if he does not, though, then he's Skylar Thompson 2.0 then. But if he gets it, then he has a chance to be a long-term number 2 quarterback in Miami. Not a starter. Not a starter. I'm going to say it a third time so no one can say, Mike said. I didn't say it. He's not a starter, but a long-term number 2 quarterback. And if you watch the clips, either on NFL Network or on ESPN, when they showed him at his house, when he was picked by Miami, he looked pissed. He looked like, I'm embarrassed. I was picked around 7. I should have been picked way higher. And he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder to prove everyone wrong. So I like that about him too. So I understand the pick. It's round 7. They only had 2 quarterbacks on the roster. They have a starter who's always hurt and Zach Wilson, who's still unproven. Bringing in Quinn Ewers, who's got a ton of experience in a big college program, who's played a lot of games. It's a third quarterback. I like it. I'd rather do that than pick up some quarterback no one heard of as an undrafted out of Coastal Carolina, and he's going to show up in camp for a week and a half, then he's going to cut. No, Quinn Ewers ain't getting cut in camp. Quinn Ewers can run. And plus, here's the other thing. Texas offense this past year or two is pretty much a carbon copy of what the Miami Dolphins run. They have taken a lot of concepts from the Dolphins and installed them at Texas. They've openly admitted it. So he's going to adapt to this offense that Miami runs like a fish to water because he's probably been running like 90% of it at Texas. So there's that. Last pick the Miami had, round 7, pick 253. Zeke Biggers, defensive tackle, Georgia Tech. That's where we're taking our defensive tackle. We're not done. We're building the trenches. God, I love Chris Greer, what he did this year. I still don't love him because I still want him fired, but I love what he did this weekend. And again, a big run stuffer, and he's got great length. When he puts his arm up, he's going to bat down balls. You want to block a field goal? This guy's going to put his arm up. He's going to block field goals. He is not a pass rusher in any way, shape, or form. But again, second string with Jordan Phillips, who we took, with Benito Jones, who we took, rotational defensive tackle to stop the run, play the run. Zeke Biggers, Georgia Tech's that guy. Again, a big SOB, 320 pounds, depth piece, 2-down player versus the run. And that guy can anchor like a naval warship taking on double teams because of his length and his size. He will anchor like a naval warship. That's what this guy is. He's a run stuffer. So Miami, with this draft, took not 1, not 2, but 3 defensive tackles. Their first pick was a defensive tackle. Their last pick was a defensive tackle, and they took one in between. That's what they needed to do because this defensive line was a mess heading in this weekend. And to quote Hannibal from the A-Team, don't you love it when a plan comes together? I will give Chris Greer credit. He went into this draft with a clear plan. We're getting stronger in the trenches. Now, only 1 offensive lineman here, but he's a badass, but 3 defensive linemen with great size. And that's what this team needed to get tougher. They're not all going to play a ton this year. Grant, obviously, probably will start. And these other guys will be rotational pieces who will be second, third string. That's fine. But get them in the system, get them acclimated to the scheme, and get them acclimated to being in the system on that side of the ball. And, yeah, they got bigger in the trenches this weekend. Again, don't love the pick at corner. I'm okay with the pick at safety because I think that guy – he's just undersized, but he'll fight it out with Patrick McMorrison. One of them will get some playing time this year and one won't. So there's that. And then Ollie Gordon, throw him out there with Achane and Wright. We got a nice little running back room that I like a lot. And look, Chris Greer, who ignored running back for however many years, has taken a running back 3 years in a row. Round 3, Achane. Round 4, Wright. Round 6, Ollie Gordon. He's taken 3 running backs in a row recently. So they're investing in the running back. They're investing in the trenches. And Quinn Ewers, backup quarterback, was a big issue last year. And they bring in Zach Wilson, and now they sign Quinn Ewers because you cannot go through a year again with Tyler Huntley, Tim Boyle, Skylar Thompson, who's now in Pittsburgh, and that whole disaster. You can't do it. So not that Zach Wilson's anything to shake. He's fine. I think he'll be okay. Quinn Ewers, once again, very accomplished in college. If the arm's right, a ton of experience there. You got to mix it up and try something new. And Quinn Ewers is a smart kid. He played a lot of games. If he can get his arm right, then I think there's potential there for him to be a long-term second-string quarterback, probably starting in 2026. And we'll see if Mike McDaniel can fix Zach Wilson, but we couldn't do status quo at that position. Clearly, they had to mix it up, and I'm glad they did. So now I'm sure starting next week, we're going to see Miami sign a bunch of old guys. They're probably going to sign a veteran corner or two. They might sign a veteran safety. They're going to sign a bunch of old guys, and they're going to sign them to 1-year deals because they have to get this roster competitive for 2025. But that's what they're going to do, and I'm sure they're going to sign. Like I said, they'll probably sign 1 more offensive lineman. They'll probably sign at least 1 corner, maybe 2, and maybe a safety. That's what they're looking at right now. And maybe 1 more. I mean, since they're not trading Ramsey to post June 1st, they got more money to play with. Obviously, they're not going to spend big money. They need at least 1 corner. I would sign 2 to be safe. So 2 veteran corners, let's say. I think they'll sign a safety. I think they'll sign a lineman on defense. I'm not sure about the offensive lineman, actually. They might be happy with that. And Chris Greer was asked today, too, about Isaiah Wynn. And if he's open to bringing him back, I could absolutely see that happening. But we'll keep an eye on that. Now, let me go through these undrafted free agents. Here's what we got as of this moment. And there's really 2 names that stand out, but I'm going to read them all. They signed Western Michigan guard Addison West. They signed cornerback out of Minnesota, Ethan Robinson. They signed cornerback out of Central Florida, BJ Adams. This is one of the two names to keep an eye on. Cornerback BJ Adams, Central Florida. He's someone everyone thought would get drafted, possibly as early as round 5. He went undrafted. This kid has a chance to make the roster. BJ Adams, Central Florida, one of the two names. They drafted linebacker Eugene Asante out of Auburn. They signed offensive lineman Josh Pribby out of Michigan. They signed running back Nate Noel out of Missouri. Well, he played 4 years at Appalachian State, 1 year at Missouri. They signed long snapper, and they need a long snapper because I don't know what's going on with Blake Ferguson. Doesn't sound good. Neelan Hibbett. This is the second name I'm going to tell you about. They signed Texas Tech tight end Jalen Connors. Jalen Connors, BJ Adams. Those are two names. And they also signed a couple wide receivers. They signed Monterey Baldwin and Theo Weiss out of Missouri. And they also signed Andrew Armstrong, wide receiver out of Arkansas. And Monterey Baldwin went to Baylor. So he signed 3 wide receivers, one from Baylor, one from Missouri, one from Arkansas. But the tight end, Jalen Connors, and BJ Adams, the corner, are the names out of this mix who I think have a real chance of making this roster. Both those guys could have easily been drafted, and they're the ones that they probably paid the most to, honestly. So, yeah, and as I said, we're going to keep updating this list of names. Go to the website, DolphinsTalk.com, over the next 24 hours. Every time there's a new name, we're going to add to the list, and that list will be updated to keep you up to date. So, yeah, that's day 3 of the draft. Overall thoughts? Look, it's tough when you only have a pick in round 1, round 2, then nothing to round 5. Taking that into account, I like the draft. I don't love the draft, but I like the draft Miami had. I get the thought process. I get the plan. And that's all you really want with these drafts. You can't expect the team to take everyone you want specifically. You're a fan sitting at home on your couch, and what the hell do you know? So at the end of the day, you just want to say, okay, I see their vision. I see their plan. I see what they're doing. And it looks like Miami's done some, self-scouting and be like, look, we're soft, as I've been saying the past few days. We've had players on opposing teams say we're soft. We've had players who played for us then leave say we're soft. We've had players on this team who are still on this team say we're soft. We're a soft team. We get pushed around. We're not physical. We don't have any toughness. Well, with their first 3 picks, I think they got 3 tough guys in Grant, Savanea, and Jordan Phillips, who are all going. I think the first 2 are going to start, and I think Jordan Phillips is going to he'll be a rotational piece that gets a lot of playing time. And then even with their last pick of Zeke Biggers, he's a big tough guy as well. Maybe he didn't play too much this year, but they added another big tough guy. That's what they needed. They had nothing in the trenches. You watch teams like the Eagles and stuff who are just pushing people around. And what do? They get to Super Bowls. They win Super Bowls. Miami, you don't have to copy them exactly, but you need some toughness in you. And that's what they did. So I like that they put a big emphasis on the trenches. 3 defensive tackles makes all the sense in the world. And they traded up to get the guard they wanted. Again, do I love that they had to trade up to get him? No, but I understand it, and I'm not going to kill him for it, because every year we say you have to address the offensive line, do something with the offensive line. They do it, so I can't be a hypocrite and rip them for it. So I love that they did that. The picks in the secondary, I'm kind of lukewarm on. Trader Jr.'s got a chance. Marshall, I don't get. Is what it is. Ollie Gordon, I won't go on and on. I love that pick. And I think Quinn Ewers in round 7 is just smart business. Because, again, if he can get the arm back to 100%, and again, it's not like his arm's falling off. It's not like he's injured. He can show up next week and play in a game if he had to. But if you get the strength back that he lost a little bit, get the zip on the balls, and get out there, and if he can be the guy he was 2022, 2023, it's a steal. Because like I said, he was pegged to be a first-round pick just a few years ago. He falls to round 7, and that's all it is. That's really all it is, because he's got the mental capacity, and he just wins. That's the winningest quarterback in college football the past 3 seasons. And, he played this past year in the SEC. So it's not like he's going up against a bunch of cupcakes. So he's the winningest quarterback. So, yeah, I don't mind that pick there. I like the draft overall. I'll do an article either Sunday or Monday with my grades. I'll grade each pick. I'll grade the entire draft, which I know people say, you can't. It's only 1 day later. I know it's fun, folks. It's just fun. Relax. Have fun. This is football. We're talking about football. It's supposed to be fun. And I know the grades don't matter per se, but we're just having fun. That's all it is. Sometimes I think fans forget sports is supposed to be fun, and they get so worked up and serious over small stuff. It's fun. But yeah, that's where we are with day 3. Tom and myself will have a show Sunday evening, so be on the lookout for that. That one will be live, so be on the lookout for that. And again, go to the website, DolphinsTalk.com. I got player bios up on each one of these draft picks that we made this weekend. I got highlights up there of them. If you want to learn and read up on each of the picks, we got it. Undrafted free agent list continually will be updated the next 24 or so hours until we've made them all and just have them all official. And we got some original commentary up as well as any of the podcasts you missed Thursday night or Friday night with myself and Tom. And if you want to go back and watch the live streams that Josh and myself did with Aaron the Brain on Thursday and Friday, watch it. It's a lot of fun. We're live on the air when they pick Grant. We're live on the air on Friday when they make the trade and take Savanea. And we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of guests too. Ian Berger joined us each night. Tom joined us one of the nights. Zach Krantz, Josh Moser joined us on Thursday. Go back and watch those shows. It was a lot of fun. Have some laughs. But yeah, so pay and also patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. $3 a month. You'll have a lot of fun and you'll love it. I trust me. All right, that's all for today's show. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you again after a while. And folks, don't forget, we must put an end to highway profanity. Hey guys, Mike here from DolphinsTalk.com. Just want to thank you for watching this video today. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this video. And also just thank you in general. I know you have a lot of other podcast options out there these days, whether it's with the Miami Dolphins or about the Miami Dolphins and with non-Miami Dolphins podcast stuff like true crime, politics, NBA, Major League Baseball. We do appreciate the support you guys provide us, and we do thank you for watching our content. We appreciate it more than you'll ever know. So thank you so much. Just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, don't forget to sign up for our Patreon service. Go to patreon.com/Dolphins Talk, and for just $3 a month, you will get more Miami Dolphins coverage and shows. Patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. Thank you again, and everyone have a great day.